So I'm gonna try not to go all over the place with this. I'm gonna try to keep it structured. My whole entire life, right? I always had like a sense for spirituality, even as an atheist, because like I grew up, right? I called myself a Christian. Really, I just believed in God, and I figured that people who believe in God are just called Christians and stuff like that. That's just the way I went about things. Like my family had religious beliefs, but they weren't religious. You know what I'm saying? So like I grew up. My first couple of years of school, I did go to a Catholic church, but that stopped. Eventually, I just been, just growing up, living life, believing in God, saying that I'm a Christian and stuff like that. But then at a certain point, I would start to like question stuff, mainly just the doctrine of the Bible and stuff like that. I didn't really agree with it, so I started becoming an atheist, and then I started literally debating my Christian friends. This is about like what I probably was like quote unquote Christian until about I probably officially stopped around like what eighth grade. I'll just say like eighth grade, seventh or eighth grade is probably when I like stopped for real heavily. So I'm like, I'm like God like isn't real. I start debating my friends and stuff like that, and eventually, I start doing it really heavy. Eventually, though, right? I start believing in God because like I'm inside my room one day and I'm just looking around, right? Like keep in mind I don't watch no YouTube videos about God. I don't look stuff up about God. I never even heard about spirituality, nothing. I'm just literally I'm just chilling. You feel me? Like at this point, dang, I kind of you see, I'm already starting to mess up the timeline. That's the only time, bro. I'm doing that this video. That's the only time. If I do it again, I'm just gonna stop the video to start all over again. But obviously, you're watching this video, so I didn't mess up again. But anyway, by this time, right? Because after I stopped believing in God, I had to think about what happened after death. And I kind of actually got to the truth. Like I was actually right. Cause what happens, what I found out at that time, actually does happen. You know, it's not like the only thing that happens, but it can happen. Pretty much, right? I was like, okay, when we die, right? I close my eyes. I'm like, when we die, it can't be like a dream because we're dead. So it has to be like this. I'd be looking at this blackness, but it's like I'm not here, so I'm not really knowing that I'm looking at the blackness. I'm kind of just there, like, and seeing nothing. So pretty much it's kind of just you're just non-existent type stuff, right? And that actually can happen. It's like the final stage of everything. Because after you die, right, you still experience light, this other stuff, but that's technically illusory. Like to go beyond all illusion, literally means going beyond time and space, which would go into entering nothing. You would non-existent, literally. So like that is something that could happen after death, the end, very end stage. You can actually phase in and out of existence. But I learned that later on in the line of spirituality. I just figured that out by just sitting down though in my room, and then at some point, right? At some point, this is when I start looking around. I'm like, okay, bro. I'm like, something obviously made this. Like, I had got up, looked in the mirror, looked at myself, got on my knees, down around at the floor, looked at my hand, and I'm like, bro, something obviously made this. I'm like, this is obviously planned. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if at this time I already knew about the conscious, subconscious mind thing because that realization was kind of crazy too. I saw a video about that, and granted, the way they explained it wasn't really the best way. And the way it's explained now, the way that I hear it at least isn't explained the best either because like there's only one mind. You know what I'm saying? Different levels. You're aware of some stuff, but then at the unconscious level of your mind, you're not aware of that type of stuff. But it's still the same mind, just different levels. You know what I'm saying? But I just it was hard for me to understand it, but like I was kind of understanding it. But I don't know if that was before or after I know about God, but they were kind of just linked. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that those two things were getting linked. You feel me? They happened around the same time, but I think it might have been before. But anyway, right? I had this realization that something obviously made this, right? So the next day at school, you know what I'm saying? It's morning time. I'm talking to God and stuff like that. And I'm like, hold up, bro. I'm like, if you really real, give me a sign. Best believe I got that sign. I was at my friend's crib watching a video called 50 Amazing Facts. Now, granted, I would never watch that video at my friend's crib. This friend does not watch videos like that. When we go to his house, it's either music or video games. If we do watch a video, which we never ever ever do, it would be a funny video, but we never ever watch videos at his crib. We never did before that or after this day. So with that being said, right, that they watched 50 Amazing Facts, something that we would never ever 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 watch. Inside the video, they confirm something about Jesus Christ. And at the time, right, all I know is the Bible. So like that was a good enough sign for me. Now, granted, I didn't even peep the sign at first, and also granted now, with what I know about Jesus Christ and stuff, I know so much about Jesus stuff like that and about the Bible. It's just like it's just so much stuff, and I know I don't want to fully speak on it till I learn everything about it because it's so many intricacies and stuff. So it's like yeah. But anyway, at the time, all I know is Bible stuff. So it's like an hour passed by after seeing that video and not peep. I'm like, hold up, didn't I ask God for a sign? Not just saw that. I'm like, okay, God, you think you're funny, but if you're really, 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 really real, help me find my jacket. Boy, I got home. I get an image of where it's at. I go to I go to the place that the image showed me. Boy, my jacket was there inside my shed. This is the image that I saw. It was inside my shed. So I'm like, dang, bro. I'm like, so God is real. So I'm just going along life just believing that, right? But my main belief of God is the fact, well, not my main belief, but I believe that God like controls reality and what happens to you and stuff like that, right? Like that's what I believe at this point in my life, right? So I'm going along life, communicating with God, trying to learn stuff about God. One day, the day actually, I think it was the day after I found my jacket, I looked up something about God. And then it blew my mind because I'm like, hold up, people make posts about this? People talk about God on the internet? I'm like, what the freak? That blew my freaking mind. So I would look stuff up occasionally. I didn't want to look up everything, but I would look some stuff up occasionally and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, at one point, I eventually I'm on YouTube and I see a video about spiritual self because I used to watch his old channel, his Illuminati channel, right? So I know what spirituality even was. The videos about meditation and sun gazing. I'm like, he's about the benefits. I'm like, okay, I'll just meditate for God. I don't know about this whole spirituality thing, but I'm just gonna meditate for God. Also keep in mind, I don't fully believe in the Bible yet. You know, I'm like, it's better when I say yet, the way I believe in it now is different than most people. So it's like my if you can't see the astrology Kundalini awakening inside the Bible stuff, then it's like you know what I'm seeing is that's what I see inside the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, more. But anyway, yeah, bro. So I don't believe in the Bible or nothing like that. I don't understand it. I don't know if hell's real. That was really the main thing that was getting to me, that whole entire hell thing. That's why I stopped believing in God in the first place. So I don't really know what that type of stuff was, but anyway, I start meditating, right? Meditating for God, right? And the first time I meditate, bro, it was crazy. Like it just felt so good. It was the best thing ever. I'm like, I'm doing this every single day. I've been doing it every day since, like it was the most amazing thing ever. So with that being said, meditation kind of made me a bit more sensitive to certain stuff. And I'm meditating more and stuff like that, right? And then like eventually, bro, this one experience happens. You feel me? And I'm like, why did this happen? I'm like, God, why would you let that happen? So I go inside the crib, see this video pop up called Shifting to the 4D. I'm like, shifting to the 4D. And the way, when I saw that video, I'm like, whoa, like, what if I see this and I'm not ready? Because it said no going back. I'm like, bro, what if I see this? I'm not ready for it, bro. It breaks my mind. It was so crazy, bro, the way I was thinking about it. And I'm like, then my friends here, I can't watch it with my friend here. You're going to think that I'm weird. So my friend actually randomly got a thought to go outside and smoke a mild. I don't smoke mild. So I'm like, go ahead, smoke your mild. I'm going to watch this video. I click it, I watch it. It pretty much explains how you create your own reality to video by Aaron Dowdy. And I'm like, okay, you create your own reality. So where does God fall into this? Like I wasn't understanding it. So I looked inside the mirror and I was just thinking about a lot of stuff. I'm like, okay, I could kind of see how like I made this happen to myself, but like why would I do that? And I'm like, I could kind of see why I did that to myself. It was a word conflict of did God do this? Did I do this? What the freak is going on? So from there I'm just learning a lot about manifestation and stuff like that. I know at some point along this journey I see a video about life and death by Dolores Cannon. That changed my whole life. I was like, wow, Dolores Cannon, bro. People sleep on her, bro. People sleep on her. I can't wait till I read a lot of her books and come out with a lot of her information, bro. Because it's like people. It seems like people knew about her and then just forgot or something like that. I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. But Dolores Cannon, she the one for real, bro. Anyway, yeah, I seen a video about her about life after death. I don't know if it was like before. I think it was after this experience about manifestation and stuff like that. But I don't know. But anyway, I'm at this point learning heavily about manifestation. I heard about astral projection too, but I'm not really into that as much. And the reason why that's important is because for the whole entire summer of me learning about God and meditating and stuff like that, it was straight manifestation, bro. Like that's all I was into. That's all I was talking about. That was it. You feel me? Eventually that got kind of boring though. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it was time for like kind of like big stuff that I wanted to do, but like the friends I was with wasn't really ready for that type of stuff, and it was like it just wasn't gonna work out. So I started focusing on myself and my own spiritual growth, and I felt like I had to leave my body next. So I learned about that from Ryan Cropper, and it's like something that was crazy was that when I watched Ryan Cropper's video, I'm like, hold up, I seen this guy before. Because when I was growing up as a kid, right, I don't really know the age range, but I seen a video by him about leaving your body, and I was watching it, like, what the freak is this? And then he talked about Insidious, the movie, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't like this guy because Insidious scared the freak out of me as a kid because the demon inside that movie it always terrified me as a kid, right? But I got over it eventually. And then growing up, like later from that point, I eventually also saw a video about lucid dreaming. Still before my whole, I think I believed in God at this point. Probably didn't know about spirituality though. But I seen a video about lucid dreaming. I seen a video about lucid dreaming, right? I watched the video lucid dream that night. It was weird. I was laying on my bed, right? When I was doing it, I was laying on my bed, right? And when I became aware, I was looking down at myself, squirming on the bed, but as a white person. Either I was looking at myself as a white person, or I was just looking at a white person. And I was at my body or something. I don't freaking know. But that happened. Then I had all these vivid dreams from there. And then it was just crazy, bro. But yeah, so I eventually seen him again when I start meditating and I'm doing manifestation and all this other stuff, and eventually it's like, yo, time to leave my body. I seen his videos and stuff like that. Eventually I leave my body, you know what I'm saying? So I leave my body and stuff like that, and I start getting good at it, bro. Like I start doing it like every single night, bro. Like technically every early morning. I was doing it every morning for like a month straight, bro. Y'all may have seen my YouTube at that time, bro. I was posting about my experiences, bro. I had the YouTube. I had YouTube back then. You know, it was pretty dope and stuff like that. So I started doing that type of stuff, but then eventually I stopped leaving my body. I stopped doing that, and after I stopped doing that, I kind of went to like a weird slump of like, what the freak is there next to do, you know? So from there, I'm like, what's there next to really do? Um, I got into a relationship also, but being with that person led to spiritual awakenings also. Like literally, my ex activated my solar plexus. I may make a video about that. I don't know, but yeah, you feel me? That happened. And then eventually I see Young Pharaoh. Now, here's why Young Pharaoh changed my journey a lot. It's not even about the Egypt stuff, because when it came to Egypt, I been knew something about Egypt because I always had a sense for it as a kid. Like I would have random visions of Egypt. You know what? It was weird. And then Vantu Cut talked about it, so I'm like, okay, black people were spiritual and stuff like that. I kind of already knew this, but he's confirming why I always saw this as a kid. Because I wasn't just in depth about Egypt, but I knew like something about it. I had an impulse for it, right? And then Vantu Cut kind of explained it a little bit, and then Young Pharaoh talked about it also. But he really was crazy because he read books, and I always seen him as being so smart and stuff like that. So when he talked about how he read books and how we should all read books, I'm like, bro, I should read books, because it's like getting information on YouTube wasn't really doing it for me no more. I felt like I knew everything on YouTube. I'm like, bro, what was crazy? There was stuff on YouTube at that time that I didn't even freaking know about. One of them was Young Pharaoh, but there's even way more also. But yeah, I thought I knew everything. I really didn't, even on the YouTube stuff. But yeah, I'm like, yo, I gotta start reading. So because of Young Pharaoh, I start reading books and stuff like that, and that was a huge awakening also because eventually I now could learn more about Egypt because I always wanted to. So now I could learn more about Egypt, but now we get to the Egypt phase of my life. And now I found Dr. Muwada Ashby, this Egyptian priest who writes books and stuff like that. The first Egyptian book I ever got was from that guy. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to get. I was so skeptical about Egyptian books. I'm like, bro, like, can I really get the right? Because I knew for a fact that the gods and goddesses were just different parts of yourself. I already knew that. But I'm like, does anybody else really know that for real? I don't know how I luckily just found this guy who knew that. He went in depth with everything too. Depth, if I said that right. So it's like, yeah. So I was studying the Egyptian stuff, and it's just going crazy, and it's just yeah, bro. I'm just into it heavy. And then studying the Egyptian stuff, eventually, I guess I would say that I'm here. Like I eventually get here because I hit a, but there's a certain point that when it came to the Egyptian stuff, right? I was just learning about it, the gods and goddesses, da da da. Then I learned about the tree of life, and I started ascending up that joint. You feel me? And then I mean, I kind of just been doing that ever since. But like, I feel like there needs to be a transition somewhere. I don't know, bro. But that's pretty. I got to the Egyptian stuff. I've been studying that type of. No, okay. I guess there is some. Let me think. Because I'm studying the Egyptian stuff, ascending upon that. You feel me? Stuff is happening inside my life. Um, I linked back up with one of my boys again. And then I don't know. I'm trying to think about when I started learning about spiritual warfare again, because I always heard about it and I got back into it. But even then, it's like no, cause I've always been doing that. So no. Yeah, I guess I would just say that I'm here now. I'm here now. Even though that Egyptian stuff happened like over like I think it was like a year ago now. Well, definitely it's like a year ago. Might be over a year ago by now though. I learned about Egypt and stuff like that. So I just been literally just learning more about that type of stuff. I also been learning more about the Bible and everything like that. I've been studying a lot of philosophy, but like not as much as I want to. I just been learning a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah. Oh, you know what? Here's what I could say. At some point, a lot of things clicked for me. Studying Egyptian mythology finally helped me understand what the freak I was experiencing. I'm like, hold up. I'm like, okay, right now I'm experiencing intelligence acting itself out. Everything I could kind of say is like the thoughts and emotions of the creator. In me, I'm intelligence manifesting itself also. And I was putting a lot of things together, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, hold up, I'm just this awareness, this thing that's just looking at things. That's all I really just am, this observer. I get it now why they say all this type of stuff. Egyptian mythology helped me put a lot of these things together and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, that's the part I was looking for. Cause I was like, yo, I felt like at a certain point I felt like I felt like I hit a certain point with Egyptian mythology where I feel like I just knew like a whole new dimension, and that's what the freak I was talking about, that whole awareness stuff and that intelligence stuff and just all of that. Like it put it all together for me. I just understood it, and then ever since then I kind of just been trying to get the message across, and also been learning a couple of more things about the human body, and it's just about my soul and my energetic makeup, and it's just like, yeah, it's been pretty crazy. That's where I'm at now, learning about more of my soul and my energetic makeup, and also how the body is composed, like the spiritual makeup of the body. I'm trying to learn spiritual anatomy and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? But there's also like more stuff I'm learning too. But like, yeah, if you want to see this, if you want to see some stuff that I'm learning, I got a Patreon. The $10 joint shows what books I've been reading and stuff like that. I covered the information inside the books and stuff like that, and it's just like, yeah, it's pretty dope, bro. So that's how I became spiritual, bro. I was just overall, I was inside my room one day. I'm like, yo, bro, this shit, this isn't random. You see what I'm saying? I asked, I asked, I asked God. Didn't know what to call it for a sign. I got my signs ever since I've been trying to unify and get closer to it, and that's really what everything's been. Even from leaving my body, from manifestation, kind of really wasn't that. But like I don't know, it was weird. But from leaving my body to reading books to the Egyptian mythology, it was all just to get closer to this intelligence that I felt like made this whole entire universe. And I finally understand it now. I finally actually get it. And now I'm learning more stuff about myself and even more about this reality, though, every day. It's dope, okay? I'm learning a whole bunch of stuff, though. I'm I'm learning a whole bunch of stuff, bro. But that's how I became spiritual, though.